Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all to your English 2 class. Before your vacation started, we had completed the first stanza of this poem, Circus Elephant. And today we shall be continuing that, but just before that, a very quick recapitulation of whatever we have learned, because since it has been long days that we had stopped here. The first one, which I need to tell you, is the theme of this poem. So theme means the central idea of this poem, or what does the poet want to say through this poem. So the very first thing that you should know is that here the poet is trying to say that we should not disturb the natural habitat or the natural living place of the wild animals. Elephant, its natural living place is the jungle, but the circus company forcefully it has brought the elephant to their circus company. So the question which is there in the mind of the poet is that whether the elephant is missing all those companies of the jungle, whether it is missing those enormous those sounds which were made by the other animals, and also the stream, the sound of the stream or the sound of the water beside the jungle, whether it is missing the lion, whether it is missing all the other hungry beasts, whether it is missing the footsteps of the zebra and the buffalo. So all these questions are there moving in the mind of the poet. And she is not directly questioning the elephant though, but these questions she is trying to find the answer in her own mind. So in the very first stanza, she is saying that does the elephant remember in grey light before dawn? So you all listen to these, whatever are being taught in your video classes, you just listen to it so minutely so that you will not have any sort of these questions in your live class. So what is the first line? Does the elephant remember? The poet is questioning herself, the poet is questioning, the poet is having all these questions in her own mind, whether the elephant remember in the grey light before dawn. Now dawn, you know, is the time before the morning. So there the sun is about to rise, and a very faded light will be there. Yellowish, everything will be just getting from darkness. It's coming to the light. So that moment where there is a grey light everywhere. So that time, whether the elephant is missing or whether the elephant is remembering that what happened that time, the old noises of the jungle in the mornings long gone. So the question is that whether the elephant still remembers those in the time before the morning, in the time before the dawn, when there was a sounds made by the other animals of the jungle. In the morning, it has been said, in the morning long gone. So why the mornings are long gone? Because it has been a long time since the elephant has come to the circus company. It has been a long time since the elephant has come to the circus company. So the question which is there in the mind of the poet is that whether the elephant has still remembered those days, whether the elephant has still remembered the moment when it used to wake up from its sleep and it used to see that in the grey light before the dawn, when the morning is still approaching, when there will be, after a few minutes, there will be the sunrise, and if the whole world will be filled with the light of the sun. So before that moment, the sound which were made by the other animals of the jungle. So whether those sounds are still remembered by the elephant. So that is the question in the mind of the poet. So that is what has been stated in the first stanza of this poem. Now here one thing is important, that is why the poet is saying that mornings long gone. If this question is asked to you, what will be your answer? Why the poet is using that the morning long gone? So the poet is using the morning long gone because she is trying to say that it has been a long time since the elephant has been has been taken away, or the elephant has been separated from its company in the jungle, and it has been taken to the circus company. It has been taken to the by the circus organization, or you can say by the circus company. They have separated the elephant from its friends and you can say the neighbors, that means the other animals. So it has got separated from them. Since it has come to the circus company, now it is living in the circus company, so it is totally detached, or you can say it is totally separated from them. So that is why, and it has been a long time that it has been taken to the circus company. So that is why the poet is saying that it had been a long past that it used to live in the jungle. Now it, for a long days now, it has been living in the circus company. So that is why long gone. It tells us about the remote past, or of the farthest, you can say of the farthest past days. Long gone past days. Okay, so this has been stated in your first stanza. In the second stanza, does the elephant remember the cry of the hungry beast? Does the elephant remember the cry of the hungry beast? So again the question is there in the mind of the poet, whether the elephant has still remembered. It has, since it has been a long days that it has left the jungle and it has come to the circus company. So the question which is there in the mind of the poet is that whether it still remembers the hungry beast, the cry or the sound, the huge sound, the fearsome sound of the hungry beast, the tiger, the leopard, the lion at his feast. Now feast, as you know, is a kind of when they will be taking their meal, when they will be taking their meal, or when they will be they will be killing, or they will be hunting their prey, and they will be eating them up, like lion and leopard and tiger, you know, all of them are the meat eaters. So they will be killing some other animal, or they will be killing something, so that they can take their meal, or they can eat the meat of that particular animal. So the poet is thinking that whether the elephant still remembers. So the elephant, it has witnessed all these scenarios, isn't it? Though the elephant, you know, it is a herbivorous, or it is an animal which doesn't take any meat or anything, but still it has seen that when the tiger is eating the meat, or the leopard is eating the meat, or the lion is eating the meat, so the elephant may have witnessed all these scenarios in the jungle. So it has seen all these scenarios in the jungle. So the poet is questioning that whether it has remembered those scenarios, those kind of when the elephant is seeing that the leopard, the tiger and the lion, they are taking their meal, whether the elephant has still remembered those scenarios or not. This is the question in the mind of the poet. Okay, so this is what is given in your second stanza. The second stanza tells us that whether the poet is questioning, the question is there in the mind of the poet. Remember, the poet is not questioning to the elephant. The question is there in the mind of her, that whether the elephant has still remembered those particular scenarios, or those particular landscapes when it used to see that the leopard, the lion, the tiger, they are taking their meal, or they are eating the meat of their prey, they are hunting an animal and they are eating the meat of that particular animal. So that scenario, remember that elephant may have witnessed, because it also lives in the jungle. So the elephant may have seen that the leopard, the lion, the tiger, they are eating the meat of a particular animal, and whether those memories are still there in the mind of the elephant or not, that is what is the question from the poet. That is, the question is being asked by the poet, and the poet is trying to get the answer out of herself only. It's not like she is not asking the elephant. So all these questions are moving there in the mind of the poet. Coming to the third stanza, do his mighty eardrums listen? So mighty, you know, is the synonym for strong. Okay, so mighty eardrums here doesn't mean strong eardrums. Here somewhere the poet is trying to say that the large eardrums, or you can say if you see the ears of the elephant, if you see the ears of the elephant, you can see that it's very huge, it's very large, it's very enormous. So the poet somewhere is thinking that these are very strong also while listening to the sound of something. When somebody is having a very strong ear, that means what? That he or she can hear everything, each and everything of whatever sound is coming to her. So the poet is trying to find out the answer of this question. Do his mighty eardrums listen for the thunder? So his strong eardrums means that particular portion of your ear through which the sound enters to your to your mind or something. So that particular portion of the ear is called eardrums. So the poet is asking that, the poet is having the question that whether the strong eardrums of the elephant has still remembered the thunder of the feet of buffalo and zebra. So when buffalo and zebra, they will be walking through the jungle, when buffalo and the zebra, they will be walking through the jungle, the sound that is made by their footsteps when they are walking, when they are kind of placing their foot in the ground of the jungle, so the sound that is produced out of that footsteps, the question of the poet is that whether the elephant has still remembered that thundering sound. Thunder, you know, thunderstorm. We say no thunderstorm. I gave you one example while explaining that simile metaphor. Thunderstorm means very kind of lightning and rain and then a very huge sound. So that is what we call thunderstorm. When there will be a sound, there will be the storm, and the total of fearsome atmosphere will be made. There will be darkness, a gloomy atmosphere, raining. So that is thunderstorm, lightning. So that thundering sound which is made, the stormy sound or the sound of a strong storm, which is made by what? Which is made with the footsteps of the zebra, the footsteps of the buffalo. So when they will be walking through the jungle and they will be placing their feet on the ground of the jungle, the sound that will be coming is being called as a thundering sound, and the poet is having the question whether the elephant still remembers those particular thundering sounds or not. In the dark and dreadful heat. Now here I will be coming to alliteration part. In the dark and dreadful heat. So the poet is saying that it has been dark in the jungle because it is a dense forest. Or you can say it is a deep jungle, so because of the thickness of the trees which are there, the trees are in a very thick density, or you can say they are in a very close proximity, so they are very thick, they are very plenty in number, they are many in numbers. So because of the trees, the sunlight could not enter to the jungle properly, so there is a dark atmosphere everywhere. So the poet is having a question that in the dark and dreadful heat, so when the zebra and the buffalo, they will be walking here and there in the jungle, the sound that will be produced, in which time? In the darkness, in the gloominess of the atmosphere. I said why the darkness is created, because of the thickness of the trees, the sunlight could not enter to the jungle properly. It was a dense forest. And the dreadful heat. So this one you should know, the meaning of dreadful is kind of deadly, very terrible. Very terrible or very deadly. D-E-A-D-L-Y. Very deadly or very terrible heat. So the heat which will be a killing kind of a heat. So it has been very, you can say it has been very gloomy atmosphere, it has been a very sunny atmosphere you can say, or it has been a very hot atmosphere. So that amidst all these adverse situations, when the buffalo and the zebra, they are walking through the jungle and they are producing the sound made with the footsteps of them, the thundering sound made with the footsteps of them. So the poet is having the question that whether the elephant has remembered those particular things or not, whether his eardrums, his strong or the mighty or the large eardrums of the elephant has listened to all these sounds or not. So that is the question which is there in the mind of the poet. Now coming to this alliteration part, just let me complete, then we shall be doing it in the board. Okay, we shall be explaining the alliteration part in the board. So the last stanza, does His Majesty remember? Now His Majesty, you know, it is a kind of an attribute, it is a kind of an addressal which is mostly given to the king. Now as we know that the king of jungle is the lion, but still the poet is kind of trying to give the elephant that kind of a designation, that kind of a respect like a king, because the elephant is also a very kind of a royal animal, we can say. So the poet is trying to say His Majesty, like he is giving the poet, the poet is trying to give the elephant that kind of a respect that one gives to the king, His Majesty. Whether His Majesty, why Majesty he is saying, she is saying Majesty because it is having kind of a majestical power within it. So whether His Majesty, whether the elephant does he steer himself and dream. So what is the meaning of this steer himself? So when we sleep, when we are sleeping, what we do, we turn this side and again we turn that side. So this way we just flip ourselves. We just when we are in deep sleep, when we are in a deep slumber, we just flip this side and that side. So that is what is being said by the poet, that when the elephant is in deep sleep, when it moves its body this side and that side, when it flips its body this side and that side, and it is in a deep sleep and it dreams of something. So whether the poet is now having the question, whether does it dream about the long forgotten music? And what is the music? The music of the long forgotten stream. The music of the long forgotten stream. Stream is what? A very kind of a rivulet, you can say, or very narrow flow of water which is passing through the jungle. It can be a river, it can be a narrow river, it can be any sort of stream, kind of a water stream. So that sound, as you know, when the water will be flowing from one place to another place, it will be going. So the sound it produces, it is a very sweet sound. And here the poet is trying to draw that particular scenario, the beautiful natural scenario, the beautiful natural landscape. And what is the question in the last stanza? The question in the last stanza is that whether the elephant, when it is in deep sleep, when it is sleeping and when it is in a deep sleep, whether does it remember, does it remember of those particular days when it used to be in the jungle, it used to listen to the sound of the stream, it used to listen to the sound of the river flowing beside the jungle. So that is the question which has been asked in the last stanza of this poem. Okay. So these are the questions which are there. These are the stanzas which are there in your book. Now this one, let me just very quickly tell you. This number one, this one here it has been asked to arrange in proper order. So you will have to arrange them in proper order as it comes in the poem. So I shall be asking you in your live class this particular question. So you just make it ready that which one is coming in the beginning and in a sequence, how it is coming 1, 2, 3, 4. This way you will be arranging it. Question number 1. So you do that, and rest of the questions which are important questions, I shall be providing you the sample answers. Now what we shall do is the alliteration. So if you see in page number 55, it has been written alliteration. So we shall be going to the board and we shall be explaining what is alliteration. And before that, another thing is that your this one, you can see alliteration is there in dark and dreadful heat. So there is alliteration because it has been the letter D has been repeated subsequently, or it has been repeated consecutively. So I'm just going to explain what is alliteration. Okay, so as we have done simile, metaphor, as you know, these are the figure of speeches. I told you these are used to beautify your writing. These are used to enhance the quality of your writing, or to, you can say, to kind of orienting your writing, kind of making your writing much beautiful and much synchronized. So that will be simile, metaphor. We have done these two figure of speeches. Now we shall be moving to alliteration. Okay, so just let me start. What is alliteration? So here we shall be discussing about alliteration. Now this is another figure of speech as we have done in your previous class. We had done simile, metaphor, like that. This is also one type of figure of speech. Now in alliteration, if you see the word, it has come from the word letter. Now letter is what? That you have learned in your English alphabet. Those letters, 26 letters are there. So that will be here playing a vital role. What is that? What is the letter will be doing here? Here you will find that if you see this line in page number 54, if you see this line, dark and dreadful heat. If you see this line, dark and dreadful heat. So if you see this line, you will find that here D has been repeated in consecutive words. It's not like that. Just after that word only it will be repeated. It's not like that. There can be the linker, joiners, conjunctions, prepositions. So all this can be, or there can be another word. But when we will see that consecutively or in a sequence or in an order, the letter is getting repeated, we will call it an alliteration. So what is given in your book about alliteration? When words that start with the same sound are used close together in a sentence is called alliteration. So when you will find the same letter are very closely situated, are very closely placed. The same letters are very closely placed. We will call it alliteration. So just like this example, which is given in your page number 56. Page number 56, the example which is given: the busy bees buzzed around the big brown bear. So the example, let me write here. The example which is given here is the busy bees. The busy bees buzzed. The busy bees buzzed around the big brown bear. Now if you see this particular sentence, you will be finding here that mostly the words are getting started with the same letter, which is B. The busy bees buzzed around the big brown bear. So this word we call alliteration because the letter B is getting repeated in the close words. The words which are there, the words which have been used here, you will be finding most of them are getting started with the letter B. So we call, when this kind of situation comes, when the close letter, when you will be finding that most of the words, or the words which are there in a close proximity, which are placed closely or near one another, you will be finding that it is getting started with the same letter. We will call it alliteration. So this we will do. And question number 2. So here you will be finding: on a warm but windy day, Wali walked down the winding street. So these are the examples. Hungry Henry hurried home and ate a huge slice of honeydew melon. Then go and gather in groups on the freshly grown green grass. So you will be finding these kind of sentences where we will be finding mostly the words are getting started with the same beginning letter. So when the beginning letter will be same, and then you will be finding that mostly or in a very close proximity and after one another, or maybe in a very you can see the nearing words are used, and those words are starting with the same beginning letter, we will call it an alliteration. Okay, so we will be doing the exercise of question number 2 that we shall do in our live class. So today what we will do is that in our live class we shall be doing question number 1. Question number 1 we will have to answer, and then question number rest of the question 2, 3, 4 and 5 which are there, which are important, I shall be providing you the sample answers. So that all for today. Have a very good day. Thank you.